This podcast was prepared by the Digression Method. The opinions expressed in this show are those of the hosts and do not reflect the view of the scientists, the Department of Education, or the United States Science Board.
Whenever life gets you down, Mrs. Brown, and things seem hard or tough, and people are stupid, obnoxious, or daft, and you feel that you've had quite enough. Just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving and revolving at 900 miles an hour. That's orbiting at 19 miles a second, so it's reckoned. The sun that is the source of all our power. The sun and you and me and all the stars that we can see are moving at 1,000,000 miles a day. In an outer spiral arm at 400.
Welcome back.
Hello, folks. Do you like me? Do you like my friends? Well, subscribe now for the 50,000 didgeridoo army. Didgeridoos and kazoos will be promised to play in CenturyLink Field.
Get to experience science as it's happening, rather than hearing about it later on or hearing the results. You get to see what happens.
Trying to do something.
50,000 people together.
I mean, we might hit the frequency necessary to levitate. We could get that. We could literally levitate that entire place. They could replicate that sound to fly cars, thanks to us.
That'd be epic.
So if we have 50,000 didgeridoo players and 50,000 smaller kazoo players, that makes 100,000 people.
Yeah, isn't CenturyLink only a capacity for 60,000 people?
Need somewhere bigger.
I think it's like 200,000.
I don't know, 200,000?
I don't know. Somebody might want to fact check that. But
That's a lot
I
of
think
people.
it's 60. Well, if you know how many, send any corrections or comments to TheDigressionMethod at gmail.com. We haven't plugged that in a while, so there we go. There's an opportunity.
Slip
that
it in
in.
early. Get it in there.
Yeah, real quick.
more opportunities to come. We have to set it up first. But
Yeah. It'll be sweet. Well,
let's just say Digression Land is on its way.
we're setting the first bricks, or trying to. Getting the plot ready. Before we go any further, we just gotta, I guess do a shout out to Stephen Hawking. Be like, rest in peace, man.
Yeah.
That's a big thing that happened, but we're, a little behind, but still as...
I feel like the best way to honor that man and his legacy is to simply follow what he once wrote about, don't look down at the ground, look up at the sky, look at the stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm about. I agree with that a lot. Get too lost looking at your feet. It's like, hey, you gotta look up and around, then kind of get a different perspective. Read his book, A Brief History of Time. It's crazy.
It just amazes me how strong that Stephen Hawking was, because initially he was promised to live, maybe a couple months, maybe a couple years, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
He's
he
supposed to
lived
die at 21.
like 30 plus years.
That's crazy, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, ALS is bad stuff. Hopefully in the future we can get that Mass Effect style of just, or like Rick and Morty, where they go to the hospital that they can cure anything pretty much. It's like, that's what we need. No more of that.
Well, to you it's an alien hospital. To me it's just a normal hospital.
Yeah. That's so good.
This week, current events.
Yeah. Do another current
I'll
event.
take this one first. Minor current events. Apparently, there's not going to be a Rick and Morty season 4.
Oh no. What? Are they deciding they're not going to do any more?
I guess they weren't renewed or something like that.
Oh,
Weren't renewed.
they'll still.
How could you not be?
That is amazing. Yeah, it's like,
Renewed.
what?
Huge following.
Rick and Morty, yeah, people love that.
People like ride it at McDonald's for the Szechuan sauce. The Szechuan sauce is back because of them, and it is delicious if you haven't tried it.
I haven't tried it. You blew my mind the other episode when you just looked at me like, that's a Szechuan sauce, and it was just so
it was a good kickback to that
random.
episode because
like, what?
It was good then and it's good now. I'm just saying.
And I still didn't try it. I didn't go out and try it.
I still haven't.
Alright, well, enough of the digressions. Moving forward, researchers and archaeologists recently found, far away from actually the water of the Amazons, several villages that would have been, 10 different language groups living in the Amazon.
Wow.
At a time when it was between 1250 and 1500 AD.
That's not that long ago.
So that kind of fills a gap that they had been questioning about for quite a while.
That's not that long ago compared to, our
12 different language groups. So it's like a bunch of people in a jungle that like don't know how to communicate to one another.
Well, that doesn't mean that they
I don't know about
how.
that. I mean, I would imagine that what it was
know.
a big trading center.
Yeah.
From different groups all around, so they would come and kind of.
It was the metropolis. You got come together, trade, and.
What amazes me though is the fact that they were able to survive that deep into the Amazon.
That's what I'm saying.
Without
like
the water.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
And really, when you picture Amazonians, you think of a bunch of different nomadic groups, but really, it seems like there was occupancy in a large area for quite some time. So
yeah, it makes sense. See, I don't know. When I think of Amazon or the rainforest, I think of tribes, and of course they move around. But I don't know if they think nomads. I imagine they'd set up a good village and only move from city to city that they have set up for ceremony or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just know very
very
little
network of
about that.
cities. It would be a nation almost if
Yeah.
you view it that way, instead of traveling around being nationless.
You had your territory. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just like that. I just love when you hear about stuff like this. It just really lets me know, because for the longest time I'd get under the assumption that it's oh, people in history are stupid and they were really dumb, couldn't do anything. If only they were more sophisticated. It's no, they were good. They weren't retarded or anything. They were intelligent.
When you think of major trading centers, like those I forget the name of the group, but they were in the Arabian Desert for a long time and set up complete huge gardens and aqueducts and
sounds like Persians
things
or
like
the
that in the middle of the freaking desert.
Babylonians.
So it's you would have to set that up, collect rainwater, and then store it somehow underground, and then pump it back up. So and that was at a time before Christ even was supposed to be around. So that's kind of amazing.
They were intense. They knew what they were doing.
Yes, back in the time when there was far more wine than water, and then thank goodness Christ came along and he turned all that wine into water.
It was supposed to.
Was it the other way around?
I was gonna say it's water into
I think
wine.
it's the opposite way around.
Yeah,
well, but I imagine with his great power, he could do the reverse.
He used to be a rainforest, and then he turned all the water into wine, and then now it's a desert.
It's a desert. Now it's California. Now it's France.
I did it now.
Awful. What have you done to us?
Well, that's intense. I saw a thing that Dan Carlin on his Twitter. He had retweeted an article about some group using ground penetrating radar in the forest, the Amazon jungle with all that thick trees, and all those old, and it found an old temple or old city or something like that they're just oh, there it is, just use scans, even though you couldn't tell because it just gets so overgrown. You have to do an awful lot of work to clear it up.
Well, a lot of machete work for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but they're able to use radar to find it, so it's like nice. I always do a good fist pump, like yes, work smarter.
And I'm sure, like with drones now, it makes it even easier and faster because you can like fly them in there.
Well, it wouldn't even be like, oh, you see, I think that makes sense. I just think a little tiny. For some reason, when I thought drone, I thought like a decent sized one. It's like, no, you can get a small little one, and if you can see like a cave entrance or something, or if something looks dangerous to not walk in there, you can still fly a little camera in there, BE basically. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well,
I love the drone technology. Yeah, it's like how it's getting better. I'd like to get one.
Kinda gotta watch out though, because people with drones and shit flying around so much, there's some people in rural areas, especially, that will fucking shoot them down.
Oh yeah. People get weird,
like why are you trying to fucking observe me?
You're looking at the land.
My shotgun.
You're looking at my land. It's like I could go to Google Earth and like zoom in on the hill. Like you can't hide. Like I'm not looking at anybody.
I can get a middle of a cornfield shot from Google Earth where the camera guy got out of his car and he stood in the middle of your cornfield and took a 360.
You couldn't get that, but it would be. You could just zoom in.
You could, because I was the camera guy.
If you want, yeah, just get that little 3D 360 degree camera thing that they use to map everything. Just drive that out in the cornfield. Run over the scarecrow. Whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Who wants to take the next article? You got it, AJ?
Yeah, I'll do mine because it's kind of brief and we're going to need a while to explain keys.
Yeah. The crazy light. It's not like going to take a while, but it's just weird.
It's a lot to digest.
Cool. Yeah.
And we digress here, not digest here.
Yeah. Digress the digestion.
Amateur astronomer captures the first light from a supernova.
Yeah, it's kind of a throwback to last week. We were kind of talking about this, but I didn't have any of the specifics. None of us did. AJ decided to.
Yeah, I just gotta get the facts on it. So the events took place on September 20th of 2016. A man, Victor Busso, I might be mispronouncing the last name, testing a new camera, happens to catch the first light from a supernova.
That's so cool. I thought about that. You just look up at the sky and then you see the light come into your eyeballs. It just arrived from the location, but
yeah, what a fucking perfect opportunity.
Yeah, it's just
right place, right time.
Yeah, that's all that is. It's just the right place and the right time. You're lucky you turned your camera on at that time to catch it, or else it would have just been there and be like, "How long has this been here?" It's
the interesting stuff was that originally, before it went boom, it was 20 times heavier than our sun. But by the time it did go boom, it was only 5 solar masses.
So it shed a lot of its stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was almost like it was like
an
explosion.
Yeah.
It's like our buddy Max is going to stop researching and might join the Peace Corps for a while and then start teaching. So there's an update on Mr. AGN.
Yeah, we were supposed to talk to him in Christmas, but we missed that. So now it's almost April, and we missed him. But we could still Skype with him, get some more on that. Our Maxwell Atkins.
I was thinking about the Silver Hammer today. I was.
The what?
The Silver Hammer.
What's the Silver Hammer?
Maxwell Silver Hammer.
I don't know. I'm lost.
Come on now. I mean, I know that it was an old reference for me, but go on now.
Remember. Maxwell Silver Hammer. What else you got in there?
So the other interesting fact about it was that the odds of capturing such an image by a professional or an amateur, this guy was an amateur, he's not like some guy that goes out there every day like this. So just like, we're gonna test my camera.
Wasn't he just? Yeah, he was just testing the camera.
He just got a new camera.
It's like, ooh, I want to turn this on, see how it goes. Point it at this certain spot in the sky, kind of let it run for a while, and then just bam.
It was like a couple 2-minute videos or a couple 20-minute videos, something like that. At any rate, it was like 1 in 10 million likelihood of catching it, or even lower at 1 in 100 million likelihood of catching this image. So
yeah, he got struck by lightning with that.
kudos to that gentleman for his brave imagery. But like, it's kind of fun to think that, and I like the element about this story because it's kind of fun to think that this guy's just a normal Joe, just your average guy out there.
Has a telescope and has a camera that he could put onto it, and he's like, I want to take my own cool solar pictures. Yeah, and catches something.
And I mean, he must have had like at least a little bit of interest in science because he did end up like taking it to a place to have it examined. That's how we like know these images exist. So like he must have had a general interest. So I think it's kind of a good story to like people that are either just remotely interested in science or people that like are deeply interested in science. Is that you could be a complete like average person, just like no ties at all, and then hey, you got something cool.
You're just doing something that you're like having an interest, like you're saying, but then you can actually help the thing, your hobby. You could be like, hey, I caught this, and then we're able to find a new star or whatever. Oh, cool.
You can contribute.
Or measure a supernova.
I think that
cool.
even gives up to like kids and stuff because there's several kids out there that are interested in science, but they don't have degrees yet or whatever. So you don't necessarily have to be somebody with a lot of degrees to make a huge scientific discovery.
Well, and not to pitch this show to children.
Everybody can do it.
I wouldn't want to pitch the show to children per se.
I wouldn't. I don't care.
I'm pretty foul.
Foul language isn't like bad.
It's not awful. It's awful. And we cut out our terrible endorsements. We trim back on that. But
we moved them to another show.
We moved those to another show. But yes. That's I think it's an important message is that anybody can contribute.
Yeah. So. You don't have to be double doctorate, master, whatever to contribute and enjoy it. So congrats to Mr. Busso.
Golf clap. Good film work. Good film work. Golf clap. Acreage to you. Acreage to everybody gets an acreage.
Everybody gets an acre on Mars. We will fund it. Join us.
All right, so that was the stuff that was within our grasps, within our understanding.
Now we're dipping into new science.
Yeah,
so apparently researchers at Harvard and MIT were interested in like light, photons and stuff, and they came up with some sort of experiment where they were able to form like a new form of light. They were able to create a new form of light that is called like a Polariton or something, or I can't remember exactly what it's called. But it's interesting because light has no mass. A photon has no mass. So when combining things in like on the atomic or like with elements, you can only combine like one or two or three. Having a group of three of the same thing is kind of tough to do. But these researchers were able to combine light into like groups of three, little clusters, and which is weird because light doesn't have what's called a Higgs field, which is I don't understand. I can't claim or even imply that I have any understanding of what that is. But apparently the Higgs field is something like that's how atoms or mass interacts with each other or something. But photons don't have those. And so it's very interesting that they were able to create a group of three of them. And they were able to do this because they took like a bunch of rubidium atoms, like a cloud of rubidium, and they took like a low-level laser, like a low-level light, and they cooled the rubidium down to a millionth of a degree above absolute zero. And I don't want to infer that I understand why, but apparently absolute zero is a temperature that you can get the number, but you can't actually get to it. It's like a theoretical number.
Yeah, so it's like perfection. It's always approached, never obtained.
Something like that. And it's absolute zero is when atoms are not moving at all, like zero. They're not moving at all. There's no heat at all.
It's what Walt Disney's body is frozen at right now.
Yeah, he is at absolute zero. But yeah, so they took a cloud of rubidium, millionth of a degree above absolute zero, and then shot this light through it, and out the other side of this cloud or of this little thing of rubidium popped out these polaritons. And what they don't know what they'll actually be able to achieve with this, or what you actually can do with it or gain with it, other than maybe sending information with it. But it's just they were able to do it, and their theory behind how it works is pretty crazy, because it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, like, I obviously have no understanding. This took like 2-3 weeks to digest this one, just to really be like, okay, do I get it? So light has no mass. They shine this laser through this cloud of rubidium, and the photons will bounce off of these rubidium atoms, and while they're bouncing off of them, this is like the theory, this is what they think, as the photon is in like the Higgs field of the rubidium atom, other photons will be in there too, and they'll be able to, while they're in that field, they'll be able to interact with each other, and with the rubidium atom form like a group called a thing called a Polariton or Polariton or something. And so you've got this like 2 or 3 photons now actually interacting with each other, linked up with the rubidium atom, and then the new particle will fly out of the little cloud of rubidium. The rubidium will unhook itself, stay in the cloud, and then the polaritons will fly out the other side, still connected, but in their little group of 3. It's crazy, because it's like something that has no mass and has no Higgs field, then is coming out the other side, still connected to each other. And it has a little bit of mass.
It's like the best
My biggest question is, how much energy can it either consume or produce?
I don't know. See, I have no idea. I don't know if it's about energy. They just connected light. Like, I don't know about anything with energy of it.
I was thinking about implications of this, because it's like, what is the practicality of what they do?
They don't know yet.
I've been thinking about what some practicalities
we'll keep doing
may
it
be.
Though.
The first practicality is literal light speed internet. Information being transferred at literally the speed of light.
Polaritons are slower. It loses energy. That's what it would be. It loses energy. It comes instead of going 180,000 miles an hour or whatever, it slows down a ton.
Well, by how much?
A lot. It's not moving light speed.
Is it moving faster than our current form of the internet transfer? Would it move faster than, say, Wi-Fi? I don't know. So that was my first thought. My second thought was...
It just said something about, like, you could be able to send more secure data or something, because the sending it on one particle or whatever is... I don't know. They still don't exactly know what the use of any of this is.
My second thought for potential use is that if it's good at transferring data, like, maybe it's like some sort of, like, light game where, like, you know, instead of teaching people view words anymore, they put you in, like, front of the screen, and it, like, displays this pattern of lights, and you're just
it's like qubits.
Information.
You have, like, these new atomic quantum computers and quantum processors or whatever that they're creating. It would have something to do with, like, that.
Oh.
Which, I mean, that stuff, I have no idea. I haven't read up on it, and it sounds so crazy. I'm like, I'll have to...
And I've heard the radical idea of information being transferred through time, where you can't necessarily transfer physical matter through time, but it may be possible to transfer data and information through light. So that could be a potential use. If that is something that can be eventually tested.
Yeah, who knows? It just blew my mind when I first heard about this, to where, like, I just thought, like, it's so crazy to be able to, as our species, like, you know, we are all about, you know, get over yourself. You know, we don't want to put ourselves too high in the scale of the universe, but I just think it's amazing we're able to detect the quantum, detect atoms, be able to combine them with precision, be able to split them and do all this crazy stuff, and then now we're able to take something that we originally or thought to have no mass, and then be able to combine it together and create something with it that has mass.
We
it's
are
just
adding
amazing.
mass to the massless.
Yeah, there you go. Giving a voice to the people. The voices.
You will be heard. Polariton. I really like the name Polariton. It makes me think that if I stun it, I can catch it with a great ball. That's what I think.
Yeah,
when I hear
like,
Polariton.
I will get it. I will put it to sleep. I'll paralyze it. I'll weaken it.
Because it's definitely not like a Pokeball name. No, Polariton sounds like a second evolution for sure. So like, it's definitely a great ball worthy. I think. You know.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I wonder how it would interact with like something like the star in the jar.
Yeah, who knows? Because like they blasted it through the cold, and that was like how they were able to combine them. But it's like I wonder what. It's so interesting because what do you do with that? What do you do with a Polariton that has? It's now 3 things of light that doesn't move quite as fast, but it's flying around combined together. Like, oh, we do. Who knows? We
made it, okay? It's our baby.
We make amazing rainbows.
Double rainbows.
We made it, okay?
Triple rainbows.
It's our baby.
Rainbows.
Look at it. It's pretty.
It's so weird
Let's
because
go to Charlie
it's
Mountain
like 3.
Candy. Wait, no, I said that backwards. Let's go to Candy Mountain, Charlie.
Go to
Charlie's Mountain candy face. Yeah, to take something and create 3 of it, combine 3 of it together when in the periodic table of elements, it doesn't really happen too often. It's not like you can just do that. There's some things that just won't do it, or a lot of things
Certain parameters that you have to have.
Yeah, there's just a lot of atoms or whatever that won't do it, and then we're just like, oh, here, we'll just take 3 of them, bounce it off rubidium, and then now it's together. It's so weird.
But only when it's super cold. And on a Tuesday.
I guess, yeah, like a weak laser. So I wonder, like, well, would a strong laser prevent it? Like, who knows? Hopefully, it'd be cooler if we could get some of these researchers. It had to be on a Tuesday,
and it had to be Dave's birthday.
I think we're just barely hearing the surface of this massive iceberg that's to come. I think we'll hear a lot more about this.
I hope so. I'm always happy and
science
hopeful.
Is an onion, you know. Just keep peeling the layers.
Keep
peeling the layers.
Ogres are like
Kaku.
onions,
Science is an onion, and when you take back a layer, you get to another one. You'll never know if you get to the center, because there's an infinite amount of layers. Like his weird cadence. Yeah, that's a good episode. Thanks for tuning in. Come back at you.
Make sure to subscribe for that 50,000 didgeridoo army. We won't buy them for you.
Well, we will, but we're only paying. What was it? Do you remember, AJ?
We weren't gonna pay more than 10 a do.
Like 10 a do, yeah, from the manufacturer. We'll get 50,000. 49,999.
Again, when we're buying that many dues, we gotta get a deal. Like, that's not just an everyday order.
For sure, not gonna pay.
We're not gonna pay full price
for each one. Like, no, or $30 for no.
Yeah, it's $29.99. We're not gonna pay $29.99 per due. That's not gonna happen.
We'll let them be we'll let the owner be a guest on the show. You tell us all about your dues.
Yeah, maybe he'll be the guy with the hot air balloon. Who knows?
He'll be like, hey, I bought a didgeridoo, so of course I had to buy a hot air balloon and play didgeridoo in the hot air balloon.
Yeah. Like, he's the guy that we're, like, anchored to, but, like,
what if he's,
when or if stuff goes wrong.
Tell him about this, and he's like, no way. I almost knocked down my own hot air balloon when I was by myself with the didgeridoo, and you want to put 50,000 of them in the stadium? Are you crazy? We're like, yes,
yeah, well, then
we
we cancel our order, and we find another owner who is willing to do such a thing.
We won't let him know. Yeah, there you go. No, that means we'll be getting... He knows that the hot air balloon will be torn from the sky, and we're going to be in the hot air balloon.
What?
We were going to be in the hot air balloon.
Rises from the sea, we will tame
it. But it's not going to get torn from the sky. Hot air balloon is there for an emergency escape if need be.
Oh, okay, I thought we were going to be in it floating above while this happens, just in case the world splits in half.
We can fly away. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, if the first guy won't do it because he knows the didgeridoos can knock hot air balloons out of the sky, and we say, screw you, we'll go to another guy, we'll be leaving the knowledge that of didgeridoos destroy hot air balloons and, bring them down.
But we don't know didgeridoos destroy hot air balloons. We can't take the word of one crazy hot air / didgeridoo enthusiast.
The hypothetical word is not in.
We don't know the guy that's literally the foremost expert on such a matter is telling us the truth. We can't believe that.
We need to talk to him. We need to talk to him first.
Yeah. If this hot air balloon / didgeridoo enthusiast, and you get to be an enthusiast of both, if you exist, then tell us.
Please reach out to us.
Yeah, tell us if it is safe to have
gmail.com.
50,000 didgeridoos playing towards the general proximity of one hot air balloon.
We want to hear from you.
We need to know.
Buy us dues.
Yeah.
Give us didgeridoos.
Because we don't want to be putting people in any
and we will, give you shout-outs on the show.
we don't want to be putting any people in the hot air balloon in undue danger. The people in the hot air balloon, we want to be safe.
Yes.
I mean, the stadium, it's fair game. You sign a pain waiver.
Dude, yeah.
You sign a pain waiver to get into the stadium. But the hot air balloon, that's like VIP members. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll create a donation on Patreon to get into the hot air balloon.
And then we go to our digression line on Mars. Because we're like, we kind of broke the
Sorry about that, but we have a plot on Mars, so bye.
We'll float that hot air balloon into space, and we'll get a star in a jar, and we'll
load it all the way to Mars. That'd be great. Well, I think that's enough digressing for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Peace!
Send any feedback to TheDigressionMethod at gmail.com. We're also on SoundCloud.com/TheDigressionMethod, Facebook.com/DigressionMethod, Patreon.com/DigressionMethod, Twitter.com/Digression541, and you can search for us on YouTube, Google Play, and iTunes, The Digression Method.
The universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding in all of the directions it can whiz. As fast as it can go, at the speed of light, 12 million miles a minute, and that's the fastest speed there is. So remember, when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth. And pray that there's intelligent life somewhere out in space, 'cause there's bugger all down here on Earth.